He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
Where has the money gone? This is the question that has been posed by Daniela Elsa in the New Zealand Herald.co.nz. Leads with the headline, Prince Harry begging King Charles for money. She writes, I've been Googling polo ponies, not because I'm hoping Santa might finally bring me the GG I've been asking for the last 3 decades, but because I wanted to know how much they cost. They're sleek, incredible animals, and if the internet is correct, they cost about $190,000 a pop, and that's before you've even seen the bill for the hay. The reason I want to know is that among the approximately 328 stories about Harry and Harry's wife, Duke and Duchess of Sussex and their 6-part Shitflick series, which included royal insiders calling the trailer dropping during the Prince and Princess of Wales US tour ugly, malicious and pathetic, we have this shocker. They seem to have had some money problems. According to The Sun, King Charles stopped taking his son's phone calls, begging for cash, assertion of control by assertion of silent treatment, going into a position of withdrawal by Charles. Harry reportedly bombarded the late Queen with calls when she was put on light duties due to her worsening mobility. This, of course, shows a diminution in his own emotional empathy for his late grandmother by him engaging in such behaviour. This, of course, will have been caused by Harry's wife going on about their money issues. Money is hugely important to her as a residual benefit. She utilises money to assert control over other people through the purchasing of gifts and particularly PR puff pieces. She has to maintain a certain level of life, standard of living, particular appearances, because she can triangulate all of that with people in order to control them and draw reactions from them, which provides her with fuel. It accords with her own inflated sense of self-importance and status, and therefore she demands that this level of money be made available. And undoubtedly she will devalue Harry by criticising his lack of earning power, his lack of pulling weight in the financial stakes, and therefore getting on to him to say, ring your dad up and get some money. We need this money. They owe it to us. Remember, in Harry's wife's mind, notwithstanding the behaviour that she is engaged in, which her narcissism blinds her to, she sees nothing wrong with ensuring that Harry brings out the begging bowl. She, of course, wouldn't do it because she would regard it as beneath her, but it's appropriate for her husband to do so. And undoubtedly she would cajole him into taking such steps by explaining, well, I can't ask, can I? He's your dad. But it's the least they can do after the way that they've treated us, isn't it? And Harry either believes what she's saying because he's brainwashed to it, or he feels awkward about it, but nevertheless goes along with it because he knows that if he refuses, out comes the taser and the pink pods get zapped before being stamped on and turned into pink pancakes. Harry is not as well off as people are led to believe. He was wanting money, an insider told the paper. The late Queen was always happy to speak with Harry, but when he asked for money, she said, "Why don't you speak to your father?" Harry told her that Charles wasn't taking his calls anymore. When the Queen asked Charles what he was doing about it, because she was fielding so many calls, he told her, "I'm not a bank." Assertion of control by refusal. Hold your very expensive horses here. Where has all the Sussex's money gone? If you've been following the melodramatic Sussex story for the last few years, then you would likely think that the couple is positively rolling in dosh, thanks to the laundry list of deals they have signed since pitching up in the United States. First came news of their Netflix contract, then their Spotify one, followed by Penguin Random House getting in on the action and securing Harry's talents via a reported multi-title deal. Quite a turn-up for the bucks for a man who got a B in art and D in geography in his final examinations. That was just the beginning. Harry also managed to break new ground for the House of Windsor by going out and getting himself that most shocking of things, a job. In March 2021, it emerged he had joined the C-suite at the billion-dollar company Better Up as the Chief Impact Officer, or Chimp Officer, as I have christened it. What is also interesting, of course, is that he's been in that position for nearly 2 years, and what has he actually done for his money? Made a couple of speeches. That seems to be about it. The article continues, while there has never been any indication of how much the Duke might be pocketing for the gig, or whether he's being paid in cash shares or all the vegan power bars he can carry from the office kitchen, you'd have to imagine that the value of this deal is significant. Harry's wife has also been out on the commercial hustings. In December 2020, it emerged via Oprah Winfrey's Instagram account no less, that Harry's wife had ventured into the entrepreneurial world, putting money into Clever, a vegan latte brand. The following year, she added author to her CV by penning a children's book, semi-literate vanity project, according to the Telegraph's review called The Bench, see parts passing. In October 2021, the New York Times got the scoop that those go-getting Sussexes were having a crack at Wall Street too, and had signed on as impact partners with a fintech asset manager called Ethic. Add all this up, carry the one, and it sounds like the couple has managed to earn themselves the sort of mountain of cash that they should fancy they could dive into Scrooge McDuck style. While no one knows the exact figure, estimates have put the total at upwards of $260 million. It must be noted that Harry will donate $2.3 million of the proceeds of his book to his Centre Barley charity and $570,000 to British charity Well Child. In short, when it came to their new life in the United States, it was definitely a case of for richer. And this, of course, is hugely important to Harry's wife for the reasons that I've set out, as money is a residual benefit. So again, asked Daniela Elsa, where has all the money gone? Is Harry currently looking for that Bitcoin he dropped down the back of one of their multiple beige sofas, or checking his favourite jeans back pockets for those Microsoft shares he got for his 8th birthday? The couple has not been living an ascetic life financially, especially having gone out and snapped up a $21 million Monte Shitshow estate early months after arriving in America, and having shown no indication since then of giving up their predilection for private jet travel. Environmental hypocrisy. Then there is Harry's wife's wardrobe, which saw her debut more than $121,000 worth of new pieces last year, and Harry's polo habit and those $190,000 ponies. It's not known if the ones he rides as part of his Los Padres team are in fact owned by the Duke. Of course, it's the allegations of institutional racism and a cruel indifference to their mental health woes that get all the attention when it comes to the why of Megxit. However, a number of reports have also suggested that money might be the Pete Best, aka the forgotten Beatle of this story. In Courtiers, the hidden power behind the crown, Valentine Lowe writes that during a tour of Sydney back in 2018, Harry's wife, according to several members of staff, was heard saying, "I can't believe I'm not getting paid for this." Sense of entitlement, lack of accountability. Pursuit of residual benefit. Elsewhere, he writes that in 2019 she did the voiceover for a Disney wildlife documentary in return for a charitable donation. However, that some insiders suspected that in the end she wanted to make money. And of course, there has been doubt cast over where that money has actually gone. See parts pass him, she stole from the elephants. Tom Bauer, in Revenge, Harry's wife, Harry in the War Between the Windsors, writes in the wake of the Sussexes' Megxit bombshell, aka the Instagram post heard around the world, that money they knew was at the heart of Harry's wife's thoughts, and it seemed that she intended to monetize the monarchy, sense of entitlement, residual benefit. After marrying into the royal family, per Bauer, Harry's wife began to understand that the British monarchy was neither flush with money nor an invincible luxury Rolls-Royce machine. In Finding Freedom, authors, plastic-faced improbably named Omid Scobie and lady who has disappeared off the face of the earth, Carolyn Durant, report that when it came to hashing out their royal divorce deal in early 2020, that a source familiar with the negotiations told them that the biggest row was over money, because it always is. Sense of entitlement, haughtiness, greed. The issue of who would foot the bill for the Sussexes' post-palace life has long proved a fraught finger-pointing one. In their Oprah outpouring last year, during which the Duke and Duchess were dressed like they were going to a mezzo-soprano's Neapolitan funeral, Harry sulkily said, My family literally cut me off financially. Pity play. Awkward then when it was later revealed that Charles had continued to fund the Duke and Duchess after they had jetted off into the sunset and had allocated a substantial sum to them. Revision of history, lie, residual benefit. A Sussex spokesperson then told the press that Harry's Oprah comment was in reference to the first quarter of the fiscal reporting period in the UK and that it's inaccurate to suggest that there's a contradiction. That's clear then. Still, we have not gotten to the bottom of the riddle here. Where exactly is that $260 million that the world's most famous emigres are meant to be earning? And that is before we even get to the most extraordinary element of this Sun report, which is that reportedly, even after Harry and Harry's wife had accused the royal family of institutional racism, ignoring their suffering and of total neglect, he still had the chutzpah to turn around and ask them for money. This, of course, again is unsurprising as a consequence of the influence that his wife has over him. According to the same report, Charles insisted that his son must email him instead, and that the son understands Charles, then Prince of Wales, asked his son to be putting requests via email through his personal assistant. The story does not detail whether the Bank of Dad agreed to help Harry, but if this report is accurate, then it would seem that Harry has some challenges when it comes to both dollars and cents. Questions asked about where has the money gone, and of course the begging bowl behaviour of Prince Harry, predicated of course by his greedy wife. Naturally, they have a large property that they have to deal with, and with that comes considerable upkeep costs. Keeping the grounds tidy, maintenance, those 47,000 flushing toilets won't clean themselves. There's a household staff to pay, security costs, and of course a lot of this money will have gone on the incessant PR puff pieces and PR agency spins that they've been involved in as a consequence of her needing to maintain the assertion of control over a general readership, viewership, and the general public. That will have been particularly expensive. Her narcissism, of course, deems it appropriate to be done, and, in her mind, there's almost an unending flow of money, because at the end of the day, Harry can always go back to the royal family and ask for more. Notwithstanding the fact that everybody would think you've got some brass neck in doing that after the way that you've behaved, remember, she doesn't see the world in that way, and she sees nothing wrong in asking the royal family to make payment towards her and Harry. Why? Because simply they deserve it, and they are obligated to make that payment after the way that they have been treated by the royal family, once again cementing her victim mentality. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.